Have you ever watched someone being judged before anyone knew their story? The kind of moment that makes you realize how wrong our first impressions can be. That's exactly what happened on a flight from New York to Los Angeles. A flight that started with laughter and mockery and ended with trembling hands, tears, and a standing ovation. IT began like any ordinary boarding day. Passengers hustled down the narrow aisle, juggling carry-ons, coffee cups, and impatience. Among them was a man named Daniel Carter, a single father in his late 30s, dressed in faded jeans and a wrinkled t-shirt. His 5-year-old daughter, Lily, clung to his hand, her pink backpack dragging on the floor. She was small, bright-eyed, and endlessly curious, the kind of kid who could melt anyone's heart if only they gave her a moment. But not everyone did. Seated in first class was Marcus Hensley, a sharply dressed CEO of a major tech firm. Marcus was known for his success, arrogance, and love for perfection. He watched Daniel struggling to fit Lily's bag in the overhead bin, his face twisting in silent irritation. People like that should stick to economy, he muttered under his breath, but loud enough for others to hear that a few nearby passengers chuckled. Daniel, embarrassed, simply smiled weakly and sat beside Lily, whispering something that made her giggle. He didn't seem to care much for Marcus's judgment, but there was a glimmer of pain in his eyes, the kind only single parents know, the kind that hides behind strength. As the flight took off, Lily's excitement filled the air. "Daddy, are we flying yet?" she asked loudly. Marcus rolled his eyes. "Unbelievable," he mumbled, turning up his noise-canceling headphones. But Daniel just laughed softly, brushing Lily's hair. "We are, sweetheart. Look out the window. We're above the clouds now." Hours passed. Drinks were served, lights dimmed, and the hum of the engines filled the silence. Marcus leaned back, scrolling through financial reports, when he noticed Daniel pulling out a small, old photo from his pocket. It showed a woman in uniform, smiling, radiant. Daniel's eyes softened as he looked at it. Lily noticed too. "That's Mommy, right?" she whispered. Daniel nodded, his voice catching. "Yeah, baby. Mommy loved flying." Marcus overheard, his curiosity piqued, but his pride keeping him silent. Still, something about the softness in Daniel's tone, the kind that came from loss, not weakness, made Marcus uneasy. Then, mid-flight, everything changed. The plane suddenly jolted hard, the lights flickering. Gasps filled the cabin. The pilot's calm voice came over the intercom, but it was strained. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing a technical issue. Please remain seated and fasten your seatbelts." A few minutes later, the captain's voice returned, this time trembling. "If there's any trained fighter pilot on board, please identify yourself immediately. I repeat, any fighter pilot, please come forward." Silence fell. Fear gripped everyone. Marcus looked around, panic flooding his chest. Nobody moved. Then, from the back of the plane, Daniel slowly stood up. The same man Marcus had mocked for being out of place now raised his hand. His voice was steady, commanding. "I'm a former Air Force fighter pilot, sir." The cabin went still. The flight attendants rushed toward him, leading him to the cockpit. Marcus's heart pounded as he watched the man he'd insulted disappear through the door. Lily clutched her stuffed bunny, eyes wide. Minutes felt like hours. The plane continued to shake, and prayers whispered through the aisles. Then came Daniel's voice over the intercom, strong, confident, the kind of tone that brings hope when everything else falls apart. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Daniel Carter. We've got a situation under control, but I need everyone calm. We'll be landing safely." Marcus closed his eyes, guilt gnawing at him. This was the man he'd belittled, the same man now fighting to save his life. When the plane finally touched down, the cabin erupted in applause and tears. The captain emerged first, pale but relieved. Then came Daniel, holding Lily's hand. The crew surrounded him with gratitude, and even the captain hugged him. Marcus stood up, his throat tight. He approached Daniel, words stumbling out. I owe you my life. I judged you without knowing anything about you." Daniel just smiled, exhausted but kind. "It's all right. We all make mistakes. Just remember, everyone's fighting a battle you can't see." Marcus nodded, eyes glistening. "Your wife, She was a pilot, wasn't she? Daniel's smile faded slightly. Yeah, she died in service 3 years ago. I promised Lily I'd keep flying, for her, and for the woman who taught me how to face the sky without fear. Lily tugged his sleeve. Daddy, did Mommy help you today? He knelt beside her, tears in his eyes. Yeah, sweetheart, I think she did. As Daniel walked away, holding Lily's hand, Marcus watched in silence. The man he had mocked turned out to be the quiet hero the world needs more of, the kind that doesn't seek glory, only purpose. And that day, Marcus learned something that no boardroom, no mansion, no success could ever teach him. That true greatness isn't in titles or clothes or wealth. It's in heart, in humility, in the strength to rise above judgment and still choose kindness. When the story of Flight 227 made headlines later that week, it wasn't about a near crash. It was about a father's courage, a little girl's faith, and how a single act of quiet heroism changed everyone on board, including one arrogant CEO who would never look at people the same way again. Because sometimes the people we underestimate are the very ones who save us when it matters most.